Swami.
Good evening and welcome back to the News Hour Special Edition. It's the moment everyone's been waiting for, the overall numbers of the NDA, UPA and who's going to form the government. This is the moment has come. And Navika, it's been an interesting run over the last couple of hours. I think before we present the numbers, a big story that I read so far as we were bringing these results was the following. I did not see a huge NDA gain. I saw substantial UPA losses. I saw this country in this result gravitating towards a situation where it is possible that it's going to be a completely hung verdict. Options will be up in the air. There is no Modi wave right now. There's a lot of work the BJP has to do. How are you reading it?
Well, it's clearly Congress down from 206 to 119, the BJP up from 116 to 131. But the big story is together the two national parties are not even halfway in the parliament. There are 250 seats, which is a substantial low from the original 300, 320 that they traditionally used to get. The big story coming out of this entire survey is the fact that it is the regional satraps who are making the gains. It is Jaya, Maya, Mata, Mulayam, any of these, if they make a combination, if they try and put together a front, it's wide open for them. The BJP has the edge. It is the single largest party. It is so far the single largest alliance, with the NDA getting 156, the UPA getting 136. So far, that advantage with the NDA. The big question will be the challenge for the NDA to get in new alliance partners, and that will be Narendra Modi's biggest challenge.
So I'll take you through the graphics very quickly. Please look closely at your screen. Vinod Mehta, thank you. Welcome to our panel. It's going to be an interesting national projection. For the UPA, the story is that they go down from 228 in 2009. They're going down to 136. It's also going to go on the big screen where Jayamrug is standing there with us. That means a fall of 92, a terrible loss for the UPA, a full vote against the UPA to government. It's going to be extremely difficult for anyone in the UPA to say this is a vote against the NDA and for us. It's certainly going to be a big blow. Absolutely. The second situation, we're going to go into those alliances in some time. As far as the NDA is concerned, the NDA gets, compared to 2009, from 132 in 2009, they go up to 156 in July 2013. That's a positive change of 24, but it's nowhere close to the kind of numbers that the NDA needs to form the government in Delhi. In fact, it means that the NDA is 116 seats short of the halfway mark. There is a third front and a fourth front. Suffice to say, these two fronts together will get about 253 seats. So as far as now we've got the NDA and UPA tally, and Jay will take you through the numbers for the NDA and the UPA. Go ahead, Jay.
Absolutely. The NDA has 156 seats projected. The UPA is 136. Now it's very interesting. Each of these fronts actually needs to cobble up some sort of a mega or a grand alliance to make even its first bid at par. In that sense, dealing with a lot of regional satraps. Now, you also have a possibility like this, not unlike 1996, where the satraps actually came together to form something like the third front or the united front. If memory serves me right, that tally at that point of time was 174 seats. And then these 174 bargained with the Congress for support, and that's where the government was institutionalized. Well, now, if we go with today's numbers, all these smaller parties, put together would have something like, we can look at the NDA tally now right here, 152, and then the BJP would actually have to cobble up an alliance with starting at 131, there the BJP is at 156.
The big story is simply this. We'll go into three projections. And for our viewers, what we are going to do is, if you're joining us here on the News Hour and you haven't been with us for the last couple of hours, the big takeaways for you. This election is seeing a huge vote against the Congress party, huge vote against the UPA. They're virtually decimated. Is no other word for it. The BJP has not been able to take advantage of the anti-incumbency vote. It's such a slow progress for the BJP at 131. Substantial losses in key states, somehow retaining its presence in states like Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh. The only state where there's been a huge swing for the BJP is the state of Gujarat. So there's a lot of work that the BJP really has to do. I'd like to welcome our guests at this stage, Abhishek Manu Singhvi. Good evening. Thank you for joining us on our national projection. Ravi Shankar Prasad, good evening, sir. Thank you for joining us as well.
Good evening.
Thank you very much. And Naresh Gujral of the Akali Dal, thank you very much as well, sir. Abhishek Mishra of the JDU will be joining us. We believe there are three ways in which governments can be formed. You know the numbers, they are on your screen. There's not much to be said about that. Well, let's look at scenario one as we take the reactions from our panelists. We believe that scenario one in this situation, if the president calls the single largest party, which is going to be the BJP, or the single largest front, which is going to be the NDA, that's the scenario which is now on your screen.
Absolutely.
Our first option we are looking at is a mega NDA alliance where the NDA ropes in the support of 10 to 11 parties. If it manages to get the support of these key parties and 8 to 9 other parties, then it can come together with a number of 266. It will be within striking distance. But the critical issue here will be the ability to take along difficult and important allies, Ravi Shankar Prasad. If you can get a fantastic mega alliance of Mamta, Maya and Jaya put together, and you get 7 other small parties, then as per these projections, you can come within striking distance. Now, can you really do that? Is it possible for you to work that kind of an alliance, Mr. Prasad?
Arnav, first of all, let me say at the very outset, we are talking today on the 29th of July 2013. And the question you are putting to me as if we are sitting in the 3rd week of May 2014, the results have been announced. You are asking me to put the roadmap. Sorry, elections are still 8 months away.
As of now.
Let me, I presume that election will be held in time. Now, what is my take from your projections? My takes are twofold.
Yeah.
First, 8-9% loss to the Congress party in terms of votes. Second, the BJP is being looked forward as an alternative by the people of the country. Numbers will come separately. This is only going to increase further in the coming months with great speed. Why people are unhappy? People are unhappy because of corruption, because of malgovernance, because of price rise, because of unemployment, and general view of suffering India and insecure India. Is it going to change in the coming months? Can Arnab Goswami promise me there will be no further explosion of another scam which keeps on appearing with alarming regularity? Can you assure me there will be inflation under control? Can you assure me?
I can assure you of nothing, Mr. Prasad. But I can only assure you of one thing. I can only assure you of one thing. Now I'm going to make you answer my question. My question is this: that can you get Mamta, Maya, and Jaya together? You know, Maya has already said, I will not work with Mr. Modi. Mamta has her own reservations. You know, Jayalalitha is a feisty partner, not easy to handle or predict. Can you get together this mega alliance? My numbers are telling me that you will have to get together a mega alliance to form the government. Can you do that? And then I'll take a reaction from Abhishek Singhvi. Can you do that?
Therefore, based upon your projection, I can only say the BJP-led alliance is going to get handsome dividend when elections are going to be held. Yes, there are two strands in India's politics. One is BJP, anti-BJP, and another is anti-Congress. And if the mood of the country is anti-Congress, and when a quest for a stable government will come about, we'll surely get a lot of allies. And thirdly, or no, very important, the people's mood in the country is always to give stable results in elections. And I'm sure, coming to the crunch, they have seen third front and fourth front, the people are going to come around BJP-led alliance.
Can the mega India alliance happen? Abhishek Singhvi, they have run successful alliances in the past. And if someone else is projected by the BJP, this mega India alliance could become a reality. You think it could happen, Dr. Singhvi?
Arnab, permit me to say my 2 or 3 points, and although it might sound boring, I must state my caveat at the outset. We don't accept and believe your surveys. In 2004, Arnab, a huge number of surveys went woefully wrong. 50% of those went wrong again in 2009. And I remember in 2004, evening when the results came, the only person, the BJP who came down, I'm not talking about you, please, Arnab, allow me to answer. I'm not talking about you, I'm talking of surveys in general. Yes, you were not born and I'm not blaming you for 2004. But and that is why you don't remember perhaps, you were in another channel, but for 2 years almost, from 2004 to 2006, people stopped doing surveys. The reason is simple. In a country of India's diversity, completely the most diverse spot on earth, multi-religious, multi-ethnic, you would require a Nobel Prize for miniaturization if you could uniformly predict on a small sample size.
Talk about the politics.
Is important. But now let's play the game. Now 1 minute, now let's play the game. Let's play your game and let's assume that your figures are correct. That's a massive assumption. I don't accept it, and everything I say is with that caveat. But let's play your game. On your game, Arnab, you show the UPA losing, no doubt, and when you play your game, there's nothing much I can say because I have to assume your figures to be correct, and so does Mr. Ravi Shankar Prasad. He has to assume figures to be correct. We lose, but obviously, and this is the question you yourself posed, is this at all a vote for the NDA? It miserably fails all the litany of charges which Mr. Prasad rattled off. It hardly shows that there is a move towards the BJP. Point number 1. In fact, it's a very sorry showing, assuming figures to be correct. Point number 2 is more important, Arnab. You ask the question and please answer it. It's an obvious answer. Assuming your figures are correct, in your third or fourth front, or in a combined third and fourth front, tell me that barring 1 or 2, who is going to be backed by or will back the BJP Modi-led NDA? Please ask that question, you get the answer straight away. Will Mamata please see a profile and
I'm asking that question.
Please see the
That's exactly my question.
The BJD. Please see the just give me half a second.
Let me put that question to Naresh Gujral. 1 minute. Take your point.
With a, no, 1 second. With a Modi-led BJP NDA, which has been announced, please ask the question: will the JDU, will the Mamata, will Maya, will DMK, will so many parties across India, which you call the third and fourth front, whose natural ally are they? The BJP's, Mr. Modi's? Or if at all
they can come up with an acceptable and an inclusive leader. It was Mr. Vajpayee who was caught in doing this balancing act. Vinod Mehta, let's just take a reaction. Vajpayee was caught doing a balancing act between the troika of Jaya, Maya and Mamata. Maybe they can, this mega NDA alliance, if they can achieve something like that.
Now, unlike Abhishek Manu Singhvi and Ravi Shankar Prasad, I accept your
So thank you. Can I shake your hand? Because can I shake your hand?
If I didn't accept your findings, I wouldn't be here.
Can I shake your hand and say one more thing? That they're not my numbers.
No.
C voter. C voter.
If those numbers are not accurate, what the hell are we doing here, sitting here? So as long as your numbers are accurate, the first thing to be said is it's extraordinary that the BJP, after a double anti-incumbency on the part of the Congress and a laundry list of sins that the Congress has committed since 2004, are only 15 seats ahead.
That is true.
I mean, so the BJP should be kicking itself that they should have done. I would have expected BJP to be close to about 180, 190 seats.
NDA or BJP?
BJP.
Okay.
Now the second point to make is very important.
We'll get the BJP alliance.
And NDA led by Mr. Narendra Modi is least likely to get more allies. And the people you have itemed out here, I think I can put a question mark against the TMC and the BSP.
They won't work with Modi.
They won't work with Modi.
So have they got BJP
So the big question is, if your poll is right, have they got the wrong candidate for the Prime Minister?
Well, that question will come up. Let's get Naresh Gujral, BJP allies perspective. Can the mega NDA alliance happen? Can the mega NDA alliance happen? Can you do the impossible?
First of all, I'd like to correct my friend Mr. Singhvi that NDA has not announced its Prime Ministerial candidate. Mr. Modi has been announced as the chairman of the BJP campaign committee. Number two, even if I buy your figures, which I don't, NDA stands at 156, about 100 short of the halfway mark. I say 100 short because historically it has been seen that you don't need 272, you need 260. The small parties and independents always go with the winner. So at 260 you actually form a government. So all NDA would require is about 100 seats.
Yeah.
Jayalalitha has almost indicated that she is quite comfortable with the BJP and the NDA. As far as Mr. Naveen Patnaik is concerned, his primary enemy in the state is Congress. So I see him coming back. I can see in Andhra Pradesh, the way Jagan has been harassed, he has no other choice but to come with us.
That's
Mamata
55
Banerjee
seats.
has said time and again how she detests the Congress. So for her to come back, I don't see a problem there. Then there are the small parties like Mr.
77
Chautala's
seats.
party,
77
AGP,
seats.
and many other parties who would come towards us. And the President is bound by the Constitution to first invite the NDA. So we have the first mover advantage. So I see no reason.
I want to ask
What's getting a question? We are now going to a panel question here quickly, very much. Then we haven't gone to any of the
My question to Naresh
panelists.
Gujral is that the scenario he's etching out is got so many ifs.
No,
if so and so comes, if so and so comes.
He's saying
I
that,
mean, the NDA idea was that the NDA would be close to 220,
politics is the art of the possible.
230, and then 40 seats.
who is the,
But Mr. Gujral, Naresh thinks that he can collect 100 seats.
No, let's
That
go to this side. Well, let's go to this side. The question to this side is, can the mega NDA alliance happen? Let's take a quick round. Meghnad this side, then we go around to this order. Meghnad this side.
BJP needs at least 180.
At least 180.
180. Below 180, BJP will not form government.
Aarti Jairaj, mega NDA alliance, can it happen?
Not under Narendra Modi.
No, with
And not under Narendra Modi, definitely. And even under, say, an LK Advani or anybody else, it's a big question.
no, but won't anti-Congressism itself be the spur to allow it to happen?
No,
Hartosh
all
Singh
these
Bar.
leaders,
Hartosh Singh Bar.
barring
But
Jayalalitha.
that's the BJP's dilemma, isn't it? If Narendra Modi gets them within striking distance, and then you have to move him out, how do you achieve those two things?
But Mr. Modi may move back because you may have to. It
That
may
is
be a
not how
political
anybody
compulsion
reads
of
the man.
moment.
That is not how anybody reads the man.
Ajay Bose.
Arnav, what is the message of these numbers? The regional parties are on top.
Absolutely, absolutely.
What is the message of the elections?
Well,
The regional parties will not accept any muscular party or leader like
I'm coming to that. The message of this election. The message of this election is that the two national parties are down from 320 to a dismal 250, 59% vote. This country is being run by regional parties, and they will have more say.
Arnab, the question is Mr. Modi the trump card on the albatross?
Okay, Manisha Priya.
No, I think looking at regional parties as a unified phenomena is really past up the scene. The new thing that we have to see is that there are many more regional parties, far more difficult to tag along a third front than to find a party. You know, the BJP is coming up as a party.
Understand, but
So
what
you
he's
have a
saying,
fragmented third
what
front.
Naresh Gujral is saying is also practical. He's saying, listen, the president has to call. The president
He doesn't have to call.
Not at all.
No, watch it. Ladies and gentlemen, I yield to experience always. And I asked the experienced journalists on the panel. My understanding is the president has to call the single. My understanding is the president has to call the single largest group of parties with the strongest possibility of providing a stable formation.
The president can call anybody who he thinks can form a stable government.
It has to be based on numbers.
No.
What Naresh Gujral is saying that on the basis of numbers, the president will have to call for numbers.
No, pre-poll alliance.
There's nothing in the constitution that's not true.
Okay, so as Abhishek Singhvi says, this is a game, though I don't think it's a game. But if this game of numbers unfolds, Nirja Chaudhary, will Pranab Mukherjee in this situation have to call the NDA, and then maybe, you know, the NDA is in a better position to co-opt more parties? You think?
See, he can call anybody. The president has the power, provided he's convinced the person can form a viable government. But Pranab Mukherjee will play it very cautiously. He will go by what he thinks is constitutionally correct and perceived to be constitutionally correct. So he won't be adventurous. So I would go along with you that he will probably call the single largest party first or the single largest.
Dr. Singhvi, I'm told, has to go in a few minutes. So before I move across it, I'm going to come back to you. I'm just going to come back to you, to all of you. I put a second possibility here, theoretically. Now we can just, let's go to, I'm coming to you in a minute. The second possibility, now this is going to be unpopular. The second possibility is, can the UPA have a shot? Sure. However preposterous as it may sound, the fact of the matter is the Congress party is in a unique position to bring different political allies together that others can't. The Congress party, for example, is the only party that can get Mayawati and Mulayam together. Theoretically, in the given situation, Mayawati plus Mulayam is 60 plus seats. And that really is the crux of the Congress party's strength. So I would like to go across next to what I call the Congress Super Alliance, a decimated UPA with 136 only. Can it build together a super alliance? Our political analysis says, despite the terrible performance of the UPA has a shot and can build a super alliance of 261. Let's understand how and why, and then we debate it. Tell me why.
The UPA with 136 adds SP, BSP, these two together are already 61, the YSR Congress at 14, RJD 12, TRS 11, DMK 5, others 22. It can pull together, hypothetically, a number like 261 would yet, for the last mile to cross 272, need Mamta on the left.
So is the communal forces bogey strong enough to ensure that the UPA stitches together such an alliance? Will the Congress try? Abhishek Manu Singhvi, will the Congress party try, if it does so badly, to even have a shot at forming the government? Would you like to do that? Or would you like to support a third front?
You know, Arnab, that's not even a question which I have to look at, much less answer. It's got a number of assumptions that we're going to do badly, and then I'm going to answer in advance as to what we'll do after we've done badly. So let's not go into such a lot of speculation, but let's look at structures. I don't want to do a tutu-meme of politics. I want to make two structural points. One, of course, is that it is generally sad that if your figures are correct, it's a very, very big if, and I completely disown them, and I've told you why earlier. But if they are correct, it shows a very, very sad day for national parties. Not only a third, but a fourth front is occupying a near majority between the two sets of parties. And I think that is an issue for some introspection for all those who consider themselves on the national stage, if true. Second is more important. And I'm now speaking more in my hat as a lawyer than as in politics. You know, if you look at the precedents, you take a precedent, you take a situation, and you have an answer. Mr. Venkatraman has acted differently from Mr. Shankar Dayal Sharma. Mr. Narayanan has acted differently from other presidents. Mr. Sanjeev Reddy acted differently earlier. So there is no clear rule. But I think that the better view would be, constitutionally speaking, that where there is a pre-poll declared alliance, be it the UPA, be it the NDA, a single largest would have an edge in being called first, but subject to a very important caveat. Suppose your figures are correct, and I'm, of course, as I said, a very big suppose, and the NDA is 15-20 seats more than us. In that case, on the very day of the results, suppose the vast majority of the other third/fourth front were to give letters either saying that we do not support the NDA, that is all the other parties, or better still saying that we support this formation of third or fourth front. Then the president would be entitled, one second, the president would be entitled not to mechanically and by rote call the single largest pre-poll, but go by what he says in the constitution, that party which can provide the most stable government. That's his assessment. And I think it's very difficult to assume that the NDA will get letters of support. This 100 jump, which my very good friend Mr. Rajesh Gujral has done, is a leap of the imagination. It's not a physical leap which can happen in 2014. A leap of the imagination will not match the physical leap for 100 seats.
Well, Mr. Ravi Shankar Prasad is responding. I think that's an interesting formulation because it goes completely contrary to how Mr. Ravi Shankar Prasad welcomed he didn't welcome the result, but he said if this is the result, the president will have no choice but to call the single largest formation and give him the opportunity. And that's what Naresh Gujral's assessment also was. I thought the entire NDA game is to be the single largest alliance and then get a shot at being 90 or 100 seats short and put together the number. But so, Mr. Prasad, I'd like you to respond to Abhishek Manu Singhvi's interesting take on this.
I have also to add something more. Clear phenomena that the BJP number is rising, even though substantially, yet BJP bashing is going on, Narendra Modi bashing is going on, as if we have been conclusively defeated today by the electorals of the country. Politics does not go by that, Mr. Arnab Goswami. And let me give an evidence of the past. Sitting in your channel, many eminent participants of your panel today who are sitting had predicted in the wake of UP elections and earlier that now Congress will not have its own president of India. They were proved completely wrong. They were, please don't overhype your assessment of a particular survey. And I'm sorry to interrupt. Another channel having more success record in the past has given NDA about 185, 190 plus. Therefore, let's leave it there. But yes, what I take from your assessment is that the apprehensions which you are flagging today would become the factor for the rise of BJP more substantially. Because people of the country are wary. Third front is history. It has no present, it has no assurance for the future. That by itself will propel BJP and the NDA to a substantial position. Now coming to the issue, who will be called? What Abhishek has said.
No, you didn't respond to what Abhishek Manu Singhvi said about the principle of who's likely to be called. But let me go across to the third option,
yes,
Mr. Prasad.
To that.
The third option, is whether a Motley group led by Mulayam Singh Yadav can try and form the government in this situation, which is really a third front, which is a Mulayam Grand Alliance, which I'd like to put up on the screen out here. The challenge here is if the Congress party says that we have been decimated,
can I say one thing?
But we'll do a repeat of 1996, where we will back the single largest available party, encourage them to form a front to keep the BJP out. Is it possible? Many people think it is. But for that, Mulayam has to outdo the way Harkishan Singh Surjit stitched this alliance. Absolutely. Is this possible? What is the reason?
Absolutely. He would have to use all his experience that he got in the tutelage of Mr. Harkishan Singh Surjit. Mr. Harkishan Singh Surjit mobilized a number of 174 in 1996. He has the possibility, per this poll, to mobilize a number of 183. And that would be just a perfect replica of the 1996 United Front.
Well, he wanted a shot in 1996
itself.
He was stopped by Lalu Prasad. Can he have a real shot at becoming Prime Minister in 2014? Let's get Abhishek Mishra of the SP, who's with us from Lucknow. Sorry to keep you waiting, Abhishek. What do you think? Mulayam Singh Yadav told us earlier today, we will have 70 seats with us. I don't know whether he meant in UP or whether he's already been able to get